Good morning, everyone. It is Monday morning, September 16th, 2024. It is so good to see you all this beautiful Monday morning. Lots to go over this morning. Monday morning touch point. As you know, this is when we look at our leading market indicators, but I want to do a sound check before we get started. I want to make sure that everyone can hear me okay. Let's go ahead and just do some thumbs up. You can unmute yourself. You can write over chat. I want to make sure that everyone can hear me. Okay, sounds good. We've got a few people saying that you can hear me okay, and that is fantastic. Y'all, it is Monday morning. So good to see you all this beautiful, amazing Monday morning. I hope you had an exceptional weekend. I hope you had a great weekend. Let's go ahead and dive right in. New listing to pending ratio. As you know, this is when we look at everything that is new on the market, everything that is back on the market, and then we add those together and we see what the inventory is like coming into the previous week. And then we take a look at everything that is active under contract, everything that is currently pending. As you know, active under contract means that other agents are welcome to continue to show the property. They can submit backup offers. Whereas properties that are currently pending on the market, you can't even look at it. They're not interested in backup offers. So we're going to add those two together. That's going to give us the total amount. And we're going to do a very simple arithmetic. We're simply going to divide the active plus the back on the market, or the new plus the back on the market, by the properties that went active under contract and pending. And we're going to get a very simple new listing to pending ratio. A ratio of 1 is that perfect market equilibrium, meaning that properties were absorbed by the market at exactly the same ratio as properties that came on the market. Inventory neither goes up nor goes down. If you've got a ratio over 1, well, that means that more properties were absorbed by the market that came into the market. That means that we're going to have a drawdown of inventory. If we've got a ratio under 1, well, that's the complete opposite. That means that less properties were absorbed by the market, therefore inventory will go up. What this does not look at are withdrawns and pendings. So there are seasonalities within real estate. Real estate is very seasonal, where you've got a ratio under 1, and yet the number of active properties actually goes down. And the reason why is because of expireds and withdrawns. We also track those separately. But if we were to add the expireds and withdrawns within this ratio, it would actually break the formula. And the reason why is because it's not going to give you the understanding of demand of the market. This is what we are looking for right here, is what is the market demand looking like? If I were to add the withdrawns and expireds and remove, or let's just say I were to decrease the number of new and pending by the withdrawns and expireds, that ratio would be artificially high, and it would actually look like there's a higher demand than there actually is. That's why we don't include it. We track it, but we don't allow that to influence this ratio. Y'all, this ratio is something I've been tracking for well over a decade. It is tried and true. It gives us that instant, what is the temperature of the market right now? What is it looking like right now? I love months of inventory. I love absorption rates, but I love sold price, but that is a lagging indicator. That tells us what happened 30, 60, 90 days ago. The activity index and the new listing to pending ratio tells us what is happening right now, today. And that's why we look at it faithfully. Let's go ahead and go backwards in time. As you know, we have to look at what agents closed in the previous few weeks, because agents are really bad, especially new construction, when it comes to updating the previous few weeks. So we have to go backwards in time to make sure that we've got the latest and greatest. We are going to go from the 2nd all the way through the 9th, and all we're going to do is update the pending. The reason why is that at 11:59, all the data locks except for pendings. Agents can go back and say, oh yeah, by the way, this property went pending 2 weeks ago. and they can update the information. That's why we have to go backwards in time and we have to update this information. Keep in mind, this is for the 6-county area. That's going to be Travis, Williamson, Bastrop, Hayes, Caldwell, and Burnett counties. That's what we're going to be updating. This number is going to go up from 327 to 358. That's going to give us a ratio of 0.70. What in the world does that mean? Well, just for an example, if you had 1,000 listings come on the market, that means that you would have 700 listings get absorbed by the market. 70 is going to give you that balanced market, nothing really to be concerned about. Once you get into the sixes, especially that 0.6, that makes a difference. That's a soft market. A 0.5, that is the market hit the wall. That is, there is no activity and listings are about to explode. So 0.7, little bit on the softer side, very much a balanced market. Not concerned about that 0.7. I'm encouraged to see a 0.7 right there. It is a pretty big drop from that 0.89 previous week. Let's see if this 0.89 actually becomes a 0.90 after we update the previous few weeks. This is going to be 470. Yeah, it will be. Take a look, 0.91. Take a look at that. That means that this week, when it's all said and done, when we continue to update this information 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, it's actually going to go up to about a 0.75-ish to a 0.77. Not bad. I'll take that. That's good. That's actually a quite healthy ratio. I will take this all day long. 0.91, really good ratio. That's really nice. Why do we have a 0.91 ratio here when we only had 901 properties go under contract? Because we only had 813 properties come on the market. Why is that? School started. That's why. But still, I'll take it. 0.91. That's good. Let's go from the 19th to the 26th. We're at exactly 500. That's going to give us 0.86. Let's go from the 12th to the 19th. That's going to be 498. That's going to give us a 0.85. Let's go from the 5th to the 12th. That's going to give us 507. And let's go from the 29th all the way through the 5th. That's going to give us 516, so we don't have to update it. We've got a question right here. Can you define what new status means? Is that within the last 7 days? Yes, anything that came on the market, brand new on the market between these dates. So we had 952 new listings come on the market between 9 to September 2nd all the way through, not to, through September 9th. So anything brand new that came on the market. Could it have been listed before, withdrawn, expired, relisted? Yes, absolutely. There's no way to differentiate between that. So I can't say only give me something that's never been listed before. It's impossible to do that. But that's brand new on the market. Very good question. Back on the market, it could mean that the property was temporarily off the market. It could mean it was active under contract and then came back on the market, or pending, then came back on the market. That's going to be your back on the market. Let us start updating this week, you all. We're going to go from the 9th to the 16th. Keep in mind that tomorrow morning, I'm going to be updating all of this. Everything will lock except for the pending. So tomorrow morning when I give you the, hey, don't forget mentorship meeting at 10 a.m. By the way, here's the updated new listing to pending ratio. It'll have all of the locked new price increase, price drop, back on the market, active under contract. All of that will be locked. And as you know, we will update the pending for the next few weeks. So let's take a look at the number of new properties from September 9th all the way through September 16th. Oh, wow. Wow. Woo. 1,003. Well, that's not expected. Wasn't expecting a 1,000. That means that by the end of the day, will we cross the 1,100 listing mark? I do not think so. I think we're going to be closer to about 1,070. It's going to be interesting to see how many new listings we had last year. Let's go ahead and take a look at that right now. Let me change this view. Oh, we already have, let me make this a little bit smaller so we don't have all those number figures right there. A little bit smaller, a little bit smaller, I'll adjust it for you all. Don't worry about it. Y'all, we already have 17 more listings than we had the same week last year. Interesting. Okay, price increase 140. Price drops. How many price drops? Okay, 1649. There's that 92% reversal from what we've been experiencing over the past 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. We're now at a 92% price drop. Interesting. Back on the market, 188, 19%. Active under contract. Well, this is encouraging. 414, not bad. This is where you get to guess. This is where you get to guess. I need 5 volunteers to go ahead and write down, what is your guess? How many pendings do you think over the past 7 days? We need 5 guesses. 5 guesses. Go ahead. Melanie Price starting us strong at 288. Kristen at a very bullish 400. Coming in hard at 400. We've got Stacy at exactly 200 saying, I don't believe you, Kristen. I'm going to go in at half. We've got Harold at 210. Kevin at, oh, wow, we've got a lot of guesses. Let's go ahead and just start reading these. Y'all are engaged this morning. We've got Harold at 210. We've got Kevin Walker at 299. We've got Joe at 278. Mike at 330. Renee at a solid 250. Let's go ahead and take a look at this, you all. Ooh, 235. 235. We're starting the week at a 0.54 ratio. Not bad. I would say when we revisit this number this time next week, we're going to be closer to that 0.7, 0.68 to 0.7. So holding steady right at that 0.7. That will give us that tangible increase in inventory over time. A 0.54 starting the week. Not great, not terrible, just kind of blah. The big one here, I'm impressed with this active under contract at 414. That's encouraging. Getting deals active under contract. A little bit of a low number on the 235, not terrible. What's causing this 0.54 right now is this: 1,003 new listings in September. That's a high number. That is a high number, you all. Very interesting just to see this number so high in September. Already year over year higher than last year. And we're only 10:15 a.m. on the second week of September. I cannot wait to see this number first thing tomorrow morning to see where we land. Is it going to cross 1,100? What do y'all think? Do you think it's going to cross 1,100? It's 10:15 a.m. We have, another 13 hours and 45 minutes left in the day. And of course, you know, realtors work 24 hours a day. Do you think, well, we're definitely going to break 1,034. We're clearly already broke 1,002. We're going to break 1,028. So it's going to be the highest number of new listings. Even if we don't hit 1,100, it's going to be the highest number of new listings since July. Y'all, let that sink in. This is why we meet every Monday morning, is so that we can be prepared for the week. So we can already tell our clients we've got the highest number of new listings that have hit the market since the week after Independence Day. Isn't that crazy? That number that's a shocking number. Well, what does that mean? Be ready for more inventory. Let's take a look at the monthly data. And by the way, really quick before we move on. 3,000 open houses. I went ahead and pulled this data. 3,000 open houses. Let's go ahead and update the previous pending. We are going to go all of last month, and then let's start updating this month. We've got 1821 pending. There's that 0.74 ratio. And let's see, July, we've got 1793, nothing changes. So 0.77, 0.74. We had in the month of August 13,210 active listings in the 6-county area. We have so far 12,925. That is as of this morning. And you can see that even though the ratio is lower, meaning we've got a net positive difference on the number of new in back on the market as opposed to active under contract and pending, inventory went down. Why? Because of withdrawns and expireds. Last month, 1,085 withdrawns, the highest number since October of 2022. So far this year, we have had 8,777 properties withdraw or expired. I would say that some of these withdrawns are already being relisted right now this month. That's why the number of new listings higher than it should be. It's got to be because of some of those withdrawns and expireds that are being relisted. That's a high number. So inventory is going to go up. Let's start updating this month. This is going to be your month-to-date figure. Number of new listings so far this month. We are at, 18,097. Interesting. 18,097. It's only the 16th of the month. Nothing going on between now and the end of the month, right? No holidays or anything? Are there any holidays between now and the end of the month? I don't think so. Anything going on between now and the end of the month? I don't think there's anything going on. We don't take holidays off, so it doesn't matter. Let's go to price increase. What's going on? Isn't it funny, everyone that became a realtor, they're like, I want to be a realtor because I want to have unlimited flexibility. And then you realize 10 years into, like, wait a second, I have zero flexibility. I basically just work all the time. We've got Bertina's birthday. Well, that is a cause of celebration. That's what I'm talking about. Let's take a look at price increases. We're at 267 price increases. Let's go to price decreases. We are at 3,017, 92%. That breaks the August trend. 23% price drop divided by active. That's right in line. We're going to end the month closer to that 50%. Back on the market, 382. That's going to give us 20%, exactly like last month. Active under contract, 843. And let's take a look at pending. That's going to give us 583. 0.63 ratio so far. For the month, it's a low ratio. As a matter of fact, that's going to be, for the month, the lowest ratio since July 2022. We're currently at a 0.63 ratio for the month right now. Lowest since July of 2022. The reason why, it's that new. We are seeing quite a bit of new listings entering the market. We're going to take a look at active inventory for the entire MLS. And you can see that we had 2 days in a row, triple-digit positive increase in active listings. Let's talk about how that influences pricing. Let's talk about the activity index. We'll cover all of that. Closed. How many closed? We're at 1,010. Oh, man. Only 1,010 properties you all have closed in the entire MLS. If you had a closing this month, you just ought to be on your knees just thanking God. I mean, 1,010 closed for the entire month. That is not much. That's not much. By the way, we have noticed a drop in the number of active agents across the entire MLS. Between Friday and today, the number of active agents actually dropped. 413 withdrawn so far this month. Expired, shouldn't be many. Yeah, 217. There's the data for the entire month. Let me do this. Let me go ahead and just move this off to the side. Let me print this as a PDF so that we can go over some of the actual charts. It's just going to take me just a few minutes, a few seconds, hopefully, to get this information as a PDF so that we can review some of the awesome graphs that we put together on a weekly basis. So we have to export this as a PDF. Just give me 1 second so that I can do this here for you. There you go. It's processing. It'll load up on the screen and we'll go over. There we have it. Y'all, I'm in such a good mood this morning. I don't want to share my feedback. Let's take a look at the year over year. We have, let me get my little red marker for you. Already 17 more new listings came on the market, 1.7%. Last week, 27. We've got 42 less price increases, 41 less price drops, 14 less back on the market. Last week, we had a drop of 2.9% on the number of properties that went under contract. That was 2 weeks ago. So far, we've got a 32% drop. This number is going to still be negative when we revisit this a few weeks from now. But take a look at the ratio. This is really encouraging. This was from August 26, 2024 through September 2nd. We had a 0.91 ratio. Last year, we had a 0.79 ratio. And then it reversed back. So let's take a look at some comparisons here. Let's do the monthly comparison. Last month, we had 490 less active listings, 47 less new listings. So we've had 3 months in a row with less new listings entering the market compared to last year. But this number is squeezing. We went from negative 16, negative 12 down to negative 1. So far this month, we're down 51% compared to all of August last year. Or this is month over month, actually. Let's do the year over year. Still negative year over year, 3.4% drop, 0.2, 0.5. So far between June, July, and August, we've had less new listings entering the market this month as opposed to this month this year as opposed to the same month last year. So far this month, we're down 48.8%. I want to submit to you that we're going to be on the positive side of things. When we compare September 2024 compared to September 2023, I would say we're going to have single-digit more new listings entering the market this September compared to last September. Let's take a look at a few more things. Here is a difference between new and pending. This is the monthly comparison. And this is the good news right here. We've got 2024. So January, we had a lower difference. And then we've got August, a lower difference. And of course, so far in September, we've got a lower difference, but September's not over. We expect it to be lower. But let's take a look at the actual ratio. January 2023, 0.88, 2024, 0.89. So better ratio this year compared to last year, January. And then we go into February. Last year, a very healthy ratio, 0.95. This year starts going down, 0.81. And it kept on going down all the way to May at a 0.67, even though last year we had a 0.81. Ratios started improving between May to June. We went from 0.67, 0.71, July 0.77. Why is that? Less new listings entering the market. That's why. We went back down to a 0.74, matching exactly last year's ratio. So August was a wash. We had the same new listing to pending ratio this August compared to last August, a complete wash. So far in September, last September, we had a 0.71 ratio. We are currently at a 0.63 ratio. Now, we can expect the ratio to go down between July, August, and September. It always happens. The seasonality of real estate. And then because we've got less new listings entering the market, the ratio actually improves. Last year, we had an amazing December at a 1.09. Let us hope that that's going to be the case this year. Here's the new listing to pending ratio going all the way back to January of 2000. As you can see, we're at a 0.63 ratio right now. I really hope this improves. I think it's going to improve when it's all said and done. I think we're going to settle right around that 0.70 ratio. I'm not concerned about a 0.63 right now. We're still waiting for agents to update pendings. Wish this was a little bit higher. Not terribly concerned right now with this ratio. And you can see that at a 0.63 ratio, we have to go all the way back to 2007, 2008. But once again, you all, it's going to improve. It's going to settle right around that 0.7. I'm absolutely convinced of that. Or maybe I'm just delusional. Either way, I'll take it. New listings for the month of September. So far, we're at 1897. Last year, for all of September, we were at 3708. Cumulative new listings, we are already 4.8% higher. Cumulative from January all the way through September. In September 2024 is not even up yet, so we're going to be up close to 6.5% higher compared to all of last year. Let's take a look at new listings per 100,000 people cumulative. We are down 1.6%. We're still down 10.2% below average. Oh, this is back on the market. This is back on the market. So we're 10.2% below average on back on the market. Pendings for September, 1426. Cumulative pending. We're at 32,863 cumulative pending. That is down 6.3%, but we are 2.2% above average. When you look at cumulative pending per 100,000 people, we are 25.4% below average. We're at 1,310 cumulative pending properties per 100,000 people from January all the way through September. And we now have 4 years in a row where the cumulative pending number of pending properties per 100,000 people have actually gone down. The peak was 2006 at 2,368. And then the second peak was 2005 at 2114. The third peak was 2020 at 2105. Very interesting to look at it that way. Let's take a look at withdrawns and expired. Let's look at the cumulative withdrawn and expired. We're up 7.5% year over year, and we're 8.1% above average. Cumulative withdrawns and expired January through September, 9,407. Let's look at a few more things. Which one is this one? Sold. Let's do cumulative sold. Cumulative sold. Number of sold properties per 100,000 people. We are currently at 900. 900 sold properties per 100,000 people. That's a 9.3% drop. We're down 24.1%. And this is per 100,000 people. So that's going to give us a 0.76 new listing to pending ratio for the entire year. I don't foresee this number changing by much. It'll go down a little bit when we revisit this January, February of next year. I can expect this to be right around that 0.74 to the 0.75. So we are currently matching 2011 on the new listing to pending ratio. I'd say it's going to go down just a little bit, 0.74, 0.75. Let us take a look at inventory. We currently have 14,838 active listings currently on the market. That is an increase of 108 from Friday, 240 weekly increase. We are down at 353 month over month. We're down 2.32% month over month. We are up 19.7% year over year. Another interesting thing to look at is that the year over year has been going down. We started at 26.9. We got all the way down to the 18%, the comparison year over year. We're now going back up. We're at 19.7. Here's the good news. 4,100 pending transactions. This is great news. This is awesome news. This is such good news that my article this morning made a point of that. Pending listings hit 4,100 in September. This is the highest number of pending properties in 30 days. This is great news. I was very encouraged to see this. Inventory did go up a little bit. We're at 5.31. Of course, we had a higher number of new listings. Solds have actually slowed down a little bit, but 4,100 pending, super encouraging, very encouraging. Why are we noticing an increase in pending? New construction. New construction activity index is over 30%, 30.11%. Out of all of the 4,100 pending deals, a staggering 1782 or 43.5% of all pendings are new construction. Even though new construction inventory only accounts for 27.9% of all the active listings. Just let that sink in. Out of all of the 14,838 active listings, only 27.9% are new construction, and yet it accounts for 43.5% of all the pending deals. Builders are moving inventory. They are being very aggressive on pricing, very aggressive on rates, and they are moving inventory. Activity index for resale, 17.8%. And when you look at the activity index, let's go ahead and take a look at this really quick. And you look at the new versus resale, you can see resale, new construction, 17, 21, 15, 26, 25.8, 46. Big difference. Burn it is the other way around, 13, higher on resale than new construction. Not many new construction deals in Burn it anyway. But some areas, Del Valley, take a look at this. 19.4% activity index in Del Valley on resale, a staggering 50%. That's why we separated this. That's why we broke this down. And you can thank Seth for this idea. Because when you look at Del Valley and you look at all the deals in Del Valley, oh, this is waiting. Adobe is waiting. It's like thinking. So let's wait until Adobe gets done thinking. I'll be able to show you the entire activity index for Del Valley. So it's just going to take a little bit for Adobe to continue to think. This is why it's important to separate the activity index between resale and new construction, because it can be very deceiving. Del Valley has a 36.1% activity index across all of Del Valley. So you've got a listing going up in Del Valley. You're like, oh, it's a really hot market. This is great. 36.1% activity index. I love it. My Del Valley listing's going to sell quick. And then you look at Del Valley and you're like, oh, wait a second. Resale is only 19.4. The reason why the total activity index is 36.1 is because we're including everything. New construction is at 50.7, super hot, crazy hot, but resale is only at 19.4. Months of inventory on resale is 5.56. You've got to rely on these resources to make really good decisions. for your clients and help your clients make good decisions. Let's go over a few more things. I did realize that we've got a question right there, an open house question. I will address the open house question, but let's just go ahead and just keep on looking at some stats here really quick, and then I'll absolutely address that open house question. Activity index, you all, across the board, we are noticing some areas you've got to be very concerned about on activity index. Take a look at 78726. We just hit a 10.7% on activity index. So please take a look at this trend line, and you've got two dots on this trend line, a high and a low. And it's really easy for you to just take a look at what's the low. You've got 3.2 just hit a low at 13.9 activity index. 3.8 at 17.5. 4.5 at 19.8 activity index. 4.7 at 20. So we're noticing quite a few zip codes that are reaching lows on activity index. But take a look at Del Valley. Very interesting what's happening in a place like Del Valley. We've got a record high activity index in Del Valley. But when you break it down, you will see that that's driven by new construction. The new construction activity index is off the charts right now. Builders are moving product like maniacs. So very important for us to know that, understand that. In saying that, you've got to have a new construction strategy to not only succeed, but just to kill it in this business over the next 2 years. You've got to be obsessed with 20 to 30% of your sales coming from new construction over the next 18 to 24 months. Do open houses around where builders are offering inventory. Promote builder inventory like crazy. Promote the rates. Promote the brand new, promote that like crazy. You've got to sell new construction. Let's take a look at type of market. 52% out of all 75 zip codes, 39 or 52% are in a seller's market. 23% in a neutral market, 25% in a buyer's market. We now have 19 zip codes currently in a buyer's market. What about cities? 57% of the top 30 cities that we track. Seller's market, 27%, neutral market, 17% in a buyer's market. Let's take a look at pricing. Then we're going to look at sales density market update. We're going to look at the bond market, and I'm going to take a few questions. I've got one question that Mike posted. I'll be sure to address that. So far this month, the average sold price is $568,142. That is down 0.9% month over month, down 2.3% year over year. The median sold price holding steady at $435,000. Same month over month, down 3.3% year over year. When you look at the average sold price, we're down 16.69%. The median sold price, we are down 20.91%. When you look at the median sold price compared to 24 months prior, we're down 7.45%. When you compare it to 36 months prior, we're down 3.33%. So if today is the absolute bottom of the market and prices do not go down from today and they start going up, the Austin real estate market has a compound appreciation rate of 5.045%. Assuming that we've reached the bottom of the market today, we would go back to the $550,000 peak value by August 2029. I don't know about you, but I plan on being around. It's going to take 61 months to reach peak value. So when you go to that listing presentation and they bought the property May of 2022 and they paid $550,000 and they're like, let's just wait until the spring. You're like, yeah, sure, spring 2030. So just show this information to your clients so your clients know exactly what is going on. So far this year, the average sold price, when you look at everything that has sold, every single property, all 23,614 that have sold so far this year, the average sold price is actually up 0.3% year over year. The median sold price is down by 1.3% year over year. Sales density, the projected number of sold properties this month is 2,310. This is a projection. As you know, something like 1,200 properties sold in the entire MLS so far this month. So this is a projection. We are very accurate with our projections, might I add. But we are expecting a 5.2% year-over-year drop on the number of sold properties. Last month, we had a 11.4%. When you look at the cumulative sold properties from January all the way through September, we are 9.1% above average. We're down 2.3% year-over-year. But when you adjust that by population, we are 20.8% below average. 940.2 properties have closed per 100,000 people, all of January through September. Let's start adjusting this based on the number of realtors. You can see that the number of realtors dropped from last month to this month by 2. 2 agents left the business. Well, more than 2 because we had some come into the business. But let's take a look at the number of sold properties per 100,000 realtors for the month of September. We are projecting that 115.9 properties will sell per 1,000 realtors. And that is 33% below average. And that's going to be the worst September on record. Let's move on. Cumulative, 1,209. That's exactly the same as last year. So we are noticing exactly the same this year than last year. Okay. Let's take a look at a few more things. Number of realtors you can see right there per 100,000 people. We're at 787. Okay. We've got a question. When will the number of realtors reflect the current dues? Next month, October. You see this big drop, 19,000 to 17,000, 21,000 to 19,000, 20,000 to 19,000. We're going to go 19,000 to probably upper 17, 18,000. That's when, next month. Market update, you all. We're at 5.2 months of inventory across the entire MLS. And you can see that the active residential listings, this is just using this month's data. We're at 5.2 months of inventory. So let me take a look at Mr. Mike's question. And then I'll go over a few more charts. And then we're going to look at the bond market. Open house. Question. Did you personally notice the number of people saying they had an agent skyrocket once you went past the 800,000 range? I even had a number of people this weekend say they had multiple agents. Did this ever deter you from doing open houses near that $1 million mark? Very good question. The answer to that is absolutely yes. The higher you go on the price point, the more people are going to have agents. They also know that if they tell you they have an agent, that you have to back away. I've also noticed that. Right? So that's why when they say, oh yeah, I've got an agent. Oh, no way. That's great. That's awesome. What's their name? And if they hesitated, cha-ching, that was my, well, wait, when you say you have an agent, do you mean you know an agent? Or have you actually signed something with that person? And I noticed quite a few people like, well, I know an agent. It's like, well, I'd be surprised if you didn't know an agent. There's an agent for every 6 people in Austin. If you didn't know an agent, I think you didn't have any friends. I was very bold at the higher price point because I realized that clients at the higher price point, they like boldness. They like aggressive, assertive, polite, always polite, not rude, not overbearing, not a jerk, but bold and assertive. That I was. I also liked to sprinkle my open houses on, realize this. If I sell a $1.2 million listing and I sell $400,000 listings, I make the same amount of money. But I work less. But I like both. I like to stack my pipeline. I like to have I can crank out the bread and butter like a maniac. I can do an open house. So I like both. I know that I can do an open house at a very attractive price point, offering very attractive rates, offering closing costs. I know the home buyer assistance programs, and I can get 2-3 deals under contract at that price point all day long. And then absolutely once a month, twice a month, I'll do an open house at a really attractive price point, real expensive price point, luxury price point. I'm going to have less walk-in traffic, but I'm going to build that clientele also, and I'm going to be very assertive within that clientele. Does that answer your question? Very good question. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good question. Yo, when you take a look at the number of active listings, we are up 19.7, but take a look at this, beautiful people. Look at the number of active listings going up. See that? We were talking about over the past few weeks, it's like, hey, number of active listings are going down. Like we're going down. All of a sudden, we have this really big jump right there. We did not see this last year. Last year, we saw this little thing, but that's very much seasonal. This year, we're noticing a pretty big jump right there in the number of active listings. What do you think's going on? Let's brainstorm this. Look at that. That's big. That's a big jump out of nowhere. We also had a big drop. You know what? This is what it is. If we were just to keep on drawing this line, this almost cancels this out. You know what this is? The reason why the number of active listings dropped so much, expireds and withdrawns. I think agents got fired. I think they missed the selling season, got fired. The seller got rid of their agent. And then all of a sudden, because the line keeps going, a little bit of an increase from that median. If you were to draw a line right down the middle, a little bit of an increase. But this is what happened. Withdrawns and expireds that were relisted almost immediately. That's exactly what's happening when you look at the data. Number of pending, this is encouraging. We're only down by 2.9% year over year. This is very encouraging. Oh, I cannot wait for the blue line to cross the red line. I want the blue line to cross the red line so bad. Cannot wait for this to happen. Activity index, we're down by 15.6%. There's a little bit of a drop right there on the activity index because of the number of new listings that hit the market. Months of inventory, this went up because of the new listings that came back on the market. We are down, or we're up 23.6. Last year, we're down compared to this year, so we're up 23.6% on the activity index. And here is your weekly change on the number of active listings, quite a bit. And then here's the monthly change. This line went up. Out of all of the 14,838 active listings, 56.6% of those have had a price decrease. Very interesting to look at it this way. You all, let's take a look at the bond market, see what's going on with the bond market. Let's do a little quick refresh. We are down 2.5 basis points on the bond market. We started down, went way up because of the New York Business Manufacturing Activity Index. New York Empire State Manufacturing Index September came out way hotter than expected, like unbelievably hot. This caused the yield to go up, and then people are like, I really don't care. It doesn't really matter. So then it went down. We also had two bond auctions that happened at 10:30, the 3-month, the 6-month. Those came out better than previous, so that caused the yield to come back down. But this is a big week. This is a huge week. Going into this week, we are currently at 6%. Cha-ching, that's what I'm talking about. 6% conventional 30-year fixed. FHA 30-year 5.625. VA at 5.625 also. USDA 30-year at 5.5. This is good news. This is good going into this week. Why is this week so incredibly important? Because it's all about the Fed. It's all about the Fed, the people that really control everything. They have their little meeting this week. Here's the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index coming in at 11.5, way better than previous, way better than forecast. Tomorrow, we've got retail sales. They're expecting it to go down for the month of August. We've got industrial production, capacity utilization. We've got all kinds of things going on tomorrow. We've got the National Association of Home Builders Housing Market Index. They're expecting that to go up. I think it'll go up. Once this data comes out tomorrow at 0900 hours, also known as 9 a.m., we're going to be able to update our home buyer walkthrough traffic, our new home buyer walkthrough traffic. You can find that by going to Insight and Statistics. I like to put that within the MBA Purchase Index. Last few pages of this MBA, we've got the traffic of prospective buyers. This is going to be released tomorrow. I'll be sure to update this. But the big one, the really big one, is going to be on Wednesday, September 18th at 1300 hours, also known as 1 p.m. That is when the Fed is going to announce the interest rate decision. Now, right here, they are expecting a 25 basis point drop. This will be the first drop in, 4 years? First drop in 4 years. They absolutely will drop. The big question is, are they going to drop it by 25 basis points or 50? If they drop it by 25 basis points, we're not going to see much movement within the bond market. The bond market is not pricing in a 50 basis point drop. They're only pricing in a 25 basis point drop. So if they go 25, which I kind of hope they go 50 personally, but they're going to go 25. I just don't see there being enough data. You see, they can always do another 25 sooner. But if they do 50 and it's too aggressive, then they're not going to increase it then. That would be insane. So bottom line, they're going to do 25. So I can expect rates to stay steady between now and then with the 25 basis point that everyone's already pricing that in. If they do 50 basis point, oh my goodness, we will see rates go down by 25 basis points. We'll see the 6 go down to 5.75. I don't see that happening. I just don't see that happening. And then we go into Thursday, got jobs report coming out, and then we go into Friday. We've got commodity data coming out on Friday. The big one's going to be Wednesday. Everyone's waiting for Wednesday. Next week, we've got the house price index. So on Tuesday next week, as 0800 hours, we will be able to update this resource, the Freddie Mac House Price Index. We'll also, we went ahead and updated the Fannie Mae Home Purchase Index. I'm going to go over this on Friday, by the way. Don't forget to join us on our Friday team meeting. I'm going to be going over the Fannie Mae Home Purchase Sentiment Index. It's great. It's fantastic. We'll go over this. But the Freddie Mac House Price Index, along with the National Market Index, will be updated next week on the 24th. We've got new home sales. And then we've got GDP, gross domestic product, what's happening with the economy. And then we've got some inflation data, core PC pricing. And then it's all about inflation data on Friday. That's why they're not going to cut it by 50 basis points. They're just going to do 25. Let's say inflation is a little bit hotter than expected on Friday and they did a 50 basis point cut. It would not be good. They're going to do 25, allow the data. They're patient people. They're very patient people. That's what's going to happen. So lots going on this week. A very, very important week for the entire market. You all, I want to remind you that all of the insight and statistics, they're all updated for the week so that you can have the latest and greatest data. Really, the only thing that we update on a monthly basis is the monthlies. Building permits monthly, Fannie Mae monthly, Freddie Mac monthly. This Fred economic data, this just takes you to all of my favorite stats. So if you ever want to know, like, Dan, what do you track? That's at the national level. That's it right there. I got so tired of just sending you a bunch of links. I just created a page with all the links that I use all the time. So this is updated all the time, but it's just external links. We've got MBA Purchase Index updated monthly. National Market Index updated monthly. And then we've got the residential inventory, residential price. This is updated every Thursday. And then the rest of this is updated 3-4 times a week. So take advantage of this. All this information's updated. We then update the insight and statistics by city and by zip code every Friday between 10 a.m. and between 2 p.m. So if you go to 78727, you're going to be able to see that this information has all of the data from Friday. So take advantage of these resources so that you can be empowered. So that's all about empowering you. Same thing with the market update. When you go here, we've got city and data analysis that we combine all the reports for the top 30 cities, all the reports for the top 75 zip codes. Let's go ahead and click on Hutto. And you can see that this was updated when? There you go, 9/13. That was Friday. So these are all set to update every Friday with the latest and greatest information. Yo, it is 10:58 a.m. Any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, or complaints? Mr. Harold, go for it.
Earlier you mentioned about having new construction be a part of our strategy.
Yes.
Recently, I was taking a CE class at one of the builders, and they offered the opportunity to do an open house at their community. And I wanted to see if you had any insight into that, if that's a good thing to do.
Absolutely, especially if the arrangement is that the people that you sign up or the people's information that you get are automatically registered as you being the agent, and then you just need to get the agreement with that person. Yeah, absolutely. We've got a Team Price agent that's doing that. We've got agents that are very much focused on new construction, and they're having a fantastic year so far this year. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless it's like a weekday, like I don't like weekday open houses personally. I've done it before. I never found those to be very effective, but obviously weekend, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And also doing an open house on a resale property that's not like the best resale property, something that you can easily find fault, something that a buyer's not really going to like that much, and then pointing them to that new construction community right down the road, 2-3 miles away. That right there is a very effective strategy. It's like, hey, let me show you something that you're not going to like, but now let me show you something that you're really going to like. That's a very effective strategy. Very good question. Any other questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, complaints? Going once, going twice. Good stuff, you all. Want to remind you that we have our amazing mentorship meeting tomorrow. Really excited about that. We are going to do a very thorough contract review because on last week's contract review, we had a lot of mistakes. And it's okay. That's why we do the contract proficiency, so that we can learn from it. So I'm not disappointed at all. It's an opportunity for us to look at that transaction and understand how to write a perfect contract that is complete, legible, enforceable, acceptable, and neat for that specific transaction. So we're going to be very thorough on that specific one because we had a lot of mistakes. So you want to join us for our Wednesday. And then, of course, we've got our Friday meeting. Really excited for our Friday meeting. It is exactly 11:02. I want to honor y'all's time. If there are no questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, or complaints or compliments, thank y'all so very much for joining. Super, super appreciate it. If you ever need anything, please let me know. Reach out. Really excited for this week. Very excited for this week. Thank you so very much for joining. Have an amazing rest of your day. And I will see you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. for our live in-person mentorship meeting. And then I'll see you Wednesday at 10 a.m. for our contract proficiency review, our training, and then Friday for our live in-person and recorded team meeting. Have an absolutely amazing rest of your day. I will chat with you later. Just go out there, do your very best. I'm so grateful that you all are a part of the team. Could not imagine life without you all. Have a happy Monday. Thank you so very much, Bertina. Always good to have you here. Have an amazing rest of your Monday, and I will chat with you later.